So, Leeds United's injuries are getting significantly worse, and we did think the midfield was bad before. This was before Norwich. This was before that Ilia Gruev injury update, and it's a pretty big one. The thing with these updates is you'll get lots and lots of stuff leaked out from various sources who pretend they know what is going on at any given moment without actually knowing what's happening. This being an official source tells me that we can completely trust it, and we can trust that the bad news is big and bad and not great news. Officially announced by the club, Ilia Gruev is set for meniscus surgery, the meniscus being a bit of the knee. I didn't specifically Google which bit of the knee. 1 second, I'm going to double check that. But I have specifically Googled the vast majority of the main bits of what the meniscus do. So, I've now searched, so I can tell you, because I'm now an expert after a single Google search. Is in here, these bits. The meniscus is the bit that takes all the impact. The bit that, if you're running on it and your meniscus is knacked, everything hurts real bad. And having searched it, a sort of standard meniscus repair is something that, returning to sports overall can take 6 to 9 months if you have to have a meniscus repair surgery, which is a long-ass time. Which is the majority of, if not the entire football season. And you might think, well, surely that's a worst case scenario. It's not. Theoretically, it could be worse. Because depending on quite how bad said meniscus problem is, if it doesn't just need repair and it needs replacement, for meniscus replacement, patients may need to avoid physical activities for up to a year. Now, with all of this taken into account, and the fact that we have 7 months left of the season, it's looking like Ilia Gruev's season is done. Completely over. It doesn't look like there's going to be any way back for him. At best, this is best case scenario, he comes back early April. And at that point, we ain't got that many football matches left. I'm going to quickly check Leeds United fixtures, actually, just so I know like how many matches we might reasonably have left at that point. So, if we're assuming that he is back for the first game in April, then he'll be back for 7 games of football. If we're calling it mid-April, the 15th, he'll have 4. And if it's May, maybe he's back for the closing day against Plymouth. So that tells me that basically Ilia Gruev's season is done. Gone, finished, the end. So then you get the next big question of what now? Because it's a big question that we really, really need to answer. And in the short term, Tanaka-Rothwell is looking like the likely pairing that we'll end up with. Because Tanaka can play as a 6, Rothwell can also sort of play a little bit of a 6. And they're both sort of natural 8s. They can both do both of those jobs, and it sort of adds up-ish. But then what happens if one of them gets injured? What happens if one of them gets a knock? Or anything like that? In that instance, the other one ends up playing as the 8, and Charlie Crew might get some minutes, and you might look at that and think, fantastic. Youth player. We love a youth player. People are begging for Charlie Crew to play some. We're comparing him to Archie Gray, which I think is genuinely unfair to do to Charlie Crew, because Archie Gray is a next-level talent. But he might end up seeing minutes. Not even just by the end of the season. He might end up seeing starts if we get any further injuries or anything, which is not the situation that we want to be in when we are trying to push for promotion here. Add on to that, if Crew has an issue, if Crew isn't quite there, Strauch has played there a bit under both Bielsa and Marsh, so he can do it. He shouldn't do it, isn't very good at doing it, but he can do it. And in the event that a Solomon or a James is back, I guess you could put Solomon or Nonto in the 10. Aronson drops back into midfield. He can technically do that. Not to a good level. And that's when you get further thoughts. Where you have to have talks about, okay, outside the squad, what's going on? Maybe free agent conversations. I was chatting with Lockie earlier, and in terms of the free agent chat, there's maybe 3 that we can reasonably look at. I'm just going to pull up some names. Edouard Michou apparently looked fairly reasonable when he was playing in Turkey, but Leo Lopez, former Football Manager legend, again, not been able to find a club, was supposedly on the verge of signing for Valencia fairly recently, but that's not happened. And a guy called Kramer, who has previously played for Daniel Farke. It's not what you need, though, realistically. And as Daniel Farke mentioned, all of these people haven't been in team training. All of these people haven't been up to speed for a while. So that's, again, more risk, which is bad. And that makes January vastly important, because at best we've got Ethan Ampadu back. But even then, he might take a couple of weeks from that point to get his way back into the squad, because you need to reintroduce yourself to training. Because if you don't do that, problems. So January is going to be the biggest transfer window we've had for a very long time. And then that doesn't really cover the very, very short term, how we play against Sunderland. And I think the approach that we take against Sunderland is going to be somewhat safe. It's going to be what we did against West Brom. It's going to be what we did in the second half against Norwich. It's going to be, right, okay, cool. This team is going to be towards the top this season. The best thing that we can do here, realistically, is guarantee a point and then push on for the 3 if it looks like it's likely at any given stage. But I think going all guns blazing like we did against Coventry would be borderline suicide in this match. Because they are a side that is very, very clinical, very, very good, and could cause us quite a lot of issues if we're not careful. I think the way that we play will end up looking a bit West Brommy, with the focus on the point, but more being the bonus. But at the end of the day, as always, that is just what I think. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, you could even become a channel member, that'd be massively appreciated. You get videos like this early if you're not on the live stream. I'm also doing this on the live stream as well, which if you see me live streaming, hop in, say hello. It's a really good time. But for the people on the live stream, we're going to head over to one of our favourite places, one of the best vibesy spots on the internet. We're heading over to Questions Corner. So if anyone in the chat has any questions at all, ping them in my direction. And if you are the first person to pop a question in the chat from the time that I've said this, well done, you've made it in the video. That's how I'll close out this video. I'll do the first question of Questions Corner. So I'm just going to wait that one out. I really, really want us to keep a decent number of players. I want everyone to stay fit. I want everyone to stay healthy. And the first question in Questions Corner is gaming advice, which I do not believe would be very helpful for the majority of people. So I'll take this one. If it was fit, he could play DM. He could. I don't necessarily want him to, just because I don't think he's got like the oomph, the energy. I don't know. I don't think he brings what Ampadu brings, which is guaranteed passion every single time, which is a shame. But that's how it is. For the video, folks, see you later.